Hey guys, Evan X here. I've got a trick that's not totally original by any stretch, but the overall effect is original in some regards, especially the ending and the way I present it. It's a little different than I've seen it done before. This is a totally impromptu trick, so you can do this with somebody else's cards. They can feel free to shuffle any way they want. 100% impromptu trick. So you're going to have the audience member divide the cards fairly equally into thirds. Tell them you want them to be as equal as they can, considering you can't divide into thirds perfectly. Okay, so here we go. So you tell them to pick any pile they want. Let's say they pick this one. Pick any card they want. Let's say they pick this one. Okay, so at that point I'm going to flip over the other two piles because this is all about elimination. So I'm going to show the audience this card here. Okay, that's going to be the card you tell them to put it on top. You tell them to lay it down, sandwich face down cards into face up cards. And we're going to go ahead and give the cards shuffle, one riffle shuffle. Okay, and then you can let them cut the cards as much as they'd like to. Doesn't matter. They can cut the cards as many times as they want. So at that point, you're going to say, there's no way for me to know at this point where your card is. The only thing I know is that the only definite thing I know is that it is one of these face down cards. So I'm going to go ahead and divide the cards up to face down like this, because this is all about process of elimination. So what we know is, we know it's a face down card. What I don't know is where in the world it is relative to this face down pile. And on top of that, I want to shuffle this up even more. So now I've eliminated all these cards over here. Let's use these cards. They can pick numbers that they want, but since I don't have anybody here, we'll say 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's take the next one. 8. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've only got 2 left, so we'll go 1, 2, like that. We can go through it a couple more times if they want to call it numbers. It's okay, but we'll just do it that one time for this time. We can go ahead and give the card some shuffles. It doesn't really matter, but the calling out numbers really seems to work pretty well. So at this point I say, well, we've eliminated all of these cards here, but what we don't know is which one of these face down cards it is. So I'm going to go ahead and eliminate some cards. I'm going to go ahead and eliminate this 9 of clubs. I'm going to go ahead and eliminate this 6 of spades. So I know it's one of these cards here, but I don't know which one. I'm going to go ahead and eliminate one more. Let's just cut to a random card. Let's cut to that King of Clubs. I don't think that's your card as well. It would take entirely too long for me to eliminate all these cards one at a time. So I'm just going to go ahead and spread the cards out. You'll see there's one card face down on the card. I'm going to eliminate all these. Throw them in that junk pile over there because I have a feeling that's your card. That was process of elimination. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go ahead and do the tutorial with it instead of trying to separate these two out. So this is a totally impromptu trick. It really can be done with any deck. There's really nothing to the overall effect. It's not really all that complicated. There's a couple moves in here, and then it's just principles and properties. So you really have them divide up the cards into 3 piles, something like that, and you really can't have them pick one. So they pick one pile. See, out a little bit. Excuse me. So essentially, you're going to go ahead and turn over those cards. They're going to pick any card at random, and then you instruct them to put the card on top. So let's just go ahead and use this top card. So this top card is 7 of diamonds. So that's going to be our card here. 7 of diamonds this time. So you fairly stick it in there, and then you can let them, if you trust them, do a riffle shuffle. I've just watched too many people mess this up, and if you don't do a single riffle shuffle, it won't work to identify which card is theirs. And you do actually have to know which card theirs is. So at that point, they can table shuffle as many times as they want. You can call out numbers and do it that way. People really think if they're calling out numbers, they're really doing something. But anyway, they can do as many times as they want. Now here's what you're looking for. If I were to spread these cards out, you're looking for the huge clump of face-up cards. So it's easy to see the huge clump of face-up cards ends with this jack, which means that this next face-down card is theirs. So you can see huge face-up clump, and this card is, of course, the 7 of diamonds. So now that you know that, so I did it scrolling through, looking for that huge jump of cards, and that's just going to be the first one I drop. So I'm going to scroll through, I'm going to find it, and I'm going to drop that on the bottom, and then go all the way to the left, and then come back. But you're just talking about how you're eliminating cards. You just know that their card is now on the bottom. Now, you can do it to where their card's on the top. It doesn't really matter, as long as you know where it is. I do like to do this next step, which is to do these random numbers. There's other tricks that use this. Sometimes it's either like a deal switch routine to do a prediction trick, but I just called out numbers because essentially what you're doing is here is reverse dealing. So you're not actually switching the order up. If these were in a specific order, you're reversing the cards, but you're not switching up the order at all. So essentially, no matter what they call, if they call 5, I'm switching the order. So I'm dealing down 4, 5, putting them down 2, 3. I mean, I'm really not changing anything except for reversing the order. So here's their card on top. Okay, they want to make sure you do it an odd number of times because you want the card on top. So you can either do it 1, 3, 5, whatever. You can have them pick a number of times they want to do it. Say they say 2 times, that's fine. Then just demo it 1 time. So if they say they want to do it 2 times, say well, then you can pick a number like 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pick a number like 4, 2, 3, 4. As soon as we run out of numbers, then we'll be done. And then you can do it the 2 times, and that equals 3, and then you're good to go. Okay. So at that point, it's real simple. From that point, all you're going to do is you're essentially using the elimination as actually ways to just get this card face up in the middle without them realizing it. So I'm just going to catch a break. So I'm going to thumb off the card, come over the top, catch a break. So I've got a break right there. And all I did was push off, or you can just come off the back and just simply do it any way you want, but just catch a small break right there. Get ready for a double undercut. So I'm going to essentially double undercut, or do the first of the undercut, and then under the guise of eliminating that card, do the second undercut under the guise of eliminating that card. So now their card is at the bottom, face down, right there. Okay, so double undercut, eliminate cards along the way, and then just cut to a random card in the middle, and then swing cut their card right there, right where you want it to be, under the guise of eliminating that card, and your job is done. Their card is face down in the middle of the deck. So I hope you guys like that trick. I've gotten tremendous reactions from that trick when I've done it in person. Like I said, it's one of those that if somebody hears that you do tricks or want to impress somebody, it's a really easy way. Essentially, the only real move you have to know is a double undercut, and then it's just like I said, it's the principles of dealing down, so that if their card's on the bottom, you're just dealing down, just getting their card onto the top, right there. But once again, if this entire deck was in a specific order, right, the only thing I'd be doing was reversing it. So if I had it ace through king, starting with ace up here, it would just be ace through king starting with ace up here. So it's just reversing the order of the deck. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think, and I'll do some more. I appreciate it, guys.